Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show. I'm Richard Vobes. It's the 25th of May, 2020. It's a bank holiday It's a bank holiday Monday. And we're all a little bit shocked from having the sun come out on a bank holiday Monday. It's been a fantastic day here in jolly old Brighton. And I hope it's been lovely wherever you happen to be. Let's say hello to a few people who've turned up at the Vobes door in the Vobosphere. Hello to Tracy Murphy. Hello to Laura Noel. Hello to Mark G. To the lovely Julia, a big hello. And hello to Barry Stevens, to Jen's Allotment Adventures, to the lovely Judith, to Laura Riddle, to Ron Langley, Days of Yore, Ed Ovett, Steve G, and Kevin's Rambles, and many more who will be joining us, I'm sure. So, let's talk about Dominic Cummings. No, sorry, it says don't talk about Dominic Cummings. We don't want to talk about politics and all of that. My God, how the media like to fire a maelstrom, do they not? We've had a beautiful bank holiday here, and I guess the world and his brother has been out. I had the lovely Kevin Hall ring me up this morning. Says, Richard, I'm trying to do a walk, but the world and his brother has turned up. What do I do? I said, take a machete and cut the lupins down. He was filming where there's a big field of lupins. Take a machete, cut the lupins down. They won't want to turn up. But that's what I want to film, Richard. Well, film them first, then cut the lupins down, and then give the evidence to the police. I don't want to get arrested, Richard. Well, it'll just be like lockdown, only you won't have to cook your own meals. Easy. Oh, yeah. So, that's what Kevin was up to anyway, causing chaos and mayhem with his camera. I hope to be doing the same, but I didn't go out this evening. I decided to stay inside because I thought it would be safer because of the world and his brother. However, I guess that some people have been out and enjoying the place because that's usually what people do on a bank holiday. Hello to Lee Roberts and hello to Mike Dixon. There we are, just looking for people who I hadn't said hello to. Ed Loud says he's got a frozen steam, a stream even. Frozen steam is an oxymoron, isn't it? I hope the everything's coming out. Is it coming out or is it a bit... Richard, have you moved to Brighton, says Kevin. No, why do you say that? It's still sunny here, you know. A rainy day today on Gabrioli Island. Oh, really? Wonder why that is. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry it's a rainy day. We've had so much sunshine. We could do with a bit of rain, actually, in the garden, but please don't come now because I'm going to go out and do some filming tomorrow and I'd like it nice and sunny, but not too windy. The wind is the biggest pain. Mark Donny McLeod says, don't mention the war. Hello all, hello to you. I hope you've been out on your bicycle doing lots of exciting things. Roy says, good evening. And Andy Frierson says, Andy Frierson says hi. And Beach Writer says, hi all, happy spring. Yes, it is a nice happy spring. Now, if anyone wants to give me a call on 07934746790, you're very, very welcome. Richard, you said hello from Brighton. Is that what I said? I don't know. I didn't write the script tonight, I'm afraid. Script tonight? Isn't that something that Superman is afraid of? I wrote the script tonight. Oh no, kryptonite. Don't go down in the kryptonite, they said, and he didn't. Val Williamson, hello to you. Very nice to see you. Now we got videos for you tonight. So I'm going to try and plough on with these videos. Because I'm going to try and keep the show to about an hour rather than the hour and a half that we have done. I want to be up 5 o'clock in the morning. So I want to go to bed early because I want to be out, and in the morning I want to be somewhere at about 6:30. And I don't want the world and their brother to be there because they start... The world and his brother is getting up earlier and earlier, which is a right pain when you're trying to film stuff where you don't want anybody on it. So, again, you have to get up really early. Linda Kane says, you always manage to control the wind well enough with your tea strainer. Yes, it's a bit like Catweasel. He used to have that thing round his neck, that sort of lucky charm thing, didn't he? Whatever they call him. I'm sure they've got a name. I've been into Mark Donny McLeod because of the hay fever has been savage. Well, I'm sorry about the savage hay fever. They're also hay fevers is armed with machetes too. So just be careful in case they, like the lupins, they drop you down. Just so you know, if you stick a bunch of flowers in the toilet and sit on them, they could be lupins. Anyway, enough of this gay banter. Let's crack on into the video box. First of all, I want to start with Mr. Mike Dixon, because he started off early in the morning watching birds. And birds is a bit of a feature in today's show, but we'll start with Mike. Now, don't be too startled in this. Not startled? Starstruck? No, not starstruck. Stargazing? No, not quite stargazing. Oh, what is it?
Good morning, Vobesters. It's Mike Dixon and Bella. And this morning we're still at home. Just had our breakfast. But on our bird feeder we got loads of starlings. And for the first time ever, the parents are actually feeding the mealworms to the babies, to the fledglings. I don't know how many more days it will go on for. But it's lovely to see it. Thought I'd share it with you this morning. It's a nice way to begin the day. It's a lovely sunny morning, and this morning I'm going to be helping out on a local community garden, just digging up some old grassy areas of weeds, and we're planting wild flowers, and those that were planted last year have all come up. It's an absolute blaze of colour, which I might film on another occasion. Now we're digging up the fourth area of grass, and the other day we had people coming along and photographing the wild flowers, which was lovely to see. As I say, watching the birds in the garden, especially the parents feeding their fledglings, our mealworms, is a real special treat. Anyway, I thought I'd just share it with you. Okay, I'll pass you back to Richard. Take care, keep safe, bye.
Well, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much, Mike, handing back to me so abruptly. Fantastic. Lovely to see the starlings. They're feeding their young. If I go like this, do you think a nice bird will fly in here and feed me? Maybe, if I'm very lucky. Anyway, Mike, got a question for you. This is my not my National Trust. Yes, it is. It's my National Trust card. Which very kindly Mike Dixon had purchased for both Julia and I to enable us to go and visit some of the National Trust properties, which is very kind of him. And I'm wondering how the car parks, I've not used it yet, how do you use it in a car park that's got a meter? If somebody could tell me, I don't know if Mike's there or wants to call in or something, it'd be very interesting to know how you use this with those the machine meters. Why isn't that giving me the number? There we go. The machine meters. I'd like to know how that works, because there's no strip. You know, like on an ordinary card machine, there's no strip that would have the magnetic code on it. So unless it's built into the card somehow. So, I mean, if you put it in there, can it read the card? It's got this funny little thing. Is that what it reads? The little square. Maybe somebody could tell me that. Because you're supposed to be able to have free parking, and where I want to go, you scan the card. How do you, when you say you scan it, what is it reading? Is it reading the little square thing here, this IQ, whatever it's called, the IQ, I can't remember what they call that. The machine scan. Oh, the QR code. Is that what it does? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That's easy then. I guess as long as that's clean enough for it to scan, and then away you go. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much for that. That's that question answered. That was nice and easy. We do like a nice, easy question. Lots of people liking the bird. Jeff says, I was rolling on the floor when you told Richard to check his mail. I thought you probably sent a picture of a big bird or a foghorn leghorn. Well, I'm not sure about that. It's similar to the video of the starlings I've done with Mike, says Ron Langley. Ah, yeah, there we go. Scan it. All right, everyone's getting a bit uppity now. Scan it, boy, scan it. I will, I'll scan it. The machine has a scanner. You press the yellow button to scan the QR code. Oh, right. Do you slide it in or do you hold it up to it? It's all very well. Q code, not a barcode. Yes, I realise it's not a barcode. Thank you. But what do? Do you hold it up to it or do you offer it in like a credit card? I'm just thinking it's like a credit card and was expecting a sort of metal strip that would know the information, but maybe it doesn't. Not sure any of the NT car parks are open at the moment, says Linda Kane. They might not be open, but there are some which don't have barriers over. Where I'm thinking of. I don't want to say where I'm going because I don't want you lot all to turn up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Gone are the days when the car park attendant had a little hut in the entrance. That's true. Well, if I can't park in there, I'll just park on the grass. That's all I'll do. Barry says most are. We went to Uffington today and they were open. There we go. You hold the card up to the machine, says Wesley Morgan. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you. Now we're getting somewhere. You see, you've got to treat me as if I'm a complete and utter idiot, because I am, and that's probably the best way. So don't even think that there is a modicum of intelligence behind this microphone and in front of the camera, because there isn't. I mean, for example, I haven't got the correct glasses on again. There we are. Now I'm Joe 90, and I actually understand a few things. Not many, but a few. I've got to get into a giant egg whisk. Oh, yes, because it's omelettes tonight. They don't actually eat them. They just mix them up around you, and you sort of absorb the omelette through the skin. Those of you who don't know what Joe 90 is, or is too young to remember it, or too old to have ever watched it, or just didn't like it, please delete these conversations from your memory because they will be meaningless otherwise. I don't want them lodging in your brain to come out when you're in a dementia hospital and the last thing that you say before you snuff it is, I remember Richard Vobes talking about Joe 90 and a giant egg whisk trying to make an omelette and the skin absorbs the food. I don't want that to happen. I can't have that on my conscience. Mark G says, pretty straightforward, Richard. Follow the instructions. Oh, there we go. Thanks very much. I just keep my mouth well and truly shut then. So, we saw some birds just now, and it was very nice to see some birds. I did go on the beach to see if I could see some, but there was only people in bikinis, not kind of the bird watching I was interested in. So, but Andrew Norris, he likes birds. He's a very wistful sort of gentleman, and he has got a very beautiful, wistful sort of video. So I thought we'd go over to Croatia now to see what kind of bird watching he likes to do. Know what I mean?
Hello, Vobesters. A few years ago we were having lunch under this apple tree in front of the house, and we saw a little fledgling, a great tit fledgling, fall on the ground. And within a few minutes a second one fell on the ground as well, and we looked around to try and find a nest, and we couldn't find a nest. I later realised that there is a hole in the trunk where the birds had been nesting, but we didn't realise that until later. So we picked up these two fledglings, and clearly they were not able to look after themselves, so we took them back to Zagreb and hand-reared them for a week, and then we came back here a week later and let them go. But they didn't want to leave us, and for the whole weekend they kept flying back on our shoulders. And every day I put out a bird feeder filled with seeds, which I have just here. And every day a whole multitude of different birds come here to feed. And I like to think that these two birds or their descendants still come back and visit us. But the most spectacular of all the birds is this one. This is a golden oriole. I rarely see it, but I hear it every morning. There are so many birds that visit this garden, and actually some of them need rescuing. So we look after them until they're ready to fly off on their own. So with such a multitude of different birds coming to eat here, I have to consult my guide to get some idea of the names of these birds. And here is my guide. So we have here the missel thrush, the blue-tit, and especially nuthatch. I do like the nuthatch. Very useful tea towel. It's a great pleasure just to sit here and watch the birds come to the bird feeder. You like to chase them, don't you?
How about that? Isn't that lovely? Wasn't that lovely? All those tiny little birds. I thought, oh, blimey. Talk about the old nursery rhyme with them in the pie. What was that? Well, you talk about it, because I can't remember what the nursery rhyme was about the thing in the pie. 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was open, obviously the oven wasn't on very much, because when the pie was open, the birds began to sing and off they went. It wouldn't happen in my Essie, I can tell you. No. Oh, hang on. Itchy eyeball. There we go. Lovely. Thank you very much, Andrew. Really enjoy your videos, as you know. And it's great. Now, I don't know whether you've got the parcel. Has the parcel that I sent to Croatia, has that arrived yet? Have you managed to get it? Be interested to know. I can't remember when I sent it now. Was it Friday? Might have been Friday. So it's probably too early for you to get it. How long does post take from the UK to Croatia? There's another thing, because I mean, I know you're not exactly next door. It's not exactly the Isle of Wight, is it? Blackbirds, there we are. Blackbirds, chilled out birding Andrew. Marvellous. Next week, Andrew is out in the fields with a chainsaw chopping cows' heads off. Very wistful video coming to us, I believe, next week. I think something went wrong there, but we'll play it out anyway. I'm sure if Andrew's done it, it will be done in such wonderful taste. You won't really think of cows' heads flying off their bodies. You really won't. I think we better just swiftly get out of that. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Before we do that, I need to make sure that... Yeah, that's what I figured. Hang on. I knew that was going to happen. Still haven't figured this system out. It's a very odd system. Anyway, if you want to give me a call on 0793 474 6790, you're very, very welcome. Have a chat to the Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi. We've still got some more videos to come out, of course. Now, I'm thinking of putting out my videos. You know, the Bald Explorer. I know I'm doing the Vobe show tonight, but this is just a thing about the Bald Explorer. So if you don't like the Bald Explorer, put your feet in your ears. And if you can put your toes in your ears, I bet you're probably only like a baby, because most people can't get their feet up there. And I'm not going to demonstrate whether I can or can't, because that would be a silly thing to do. And I am a silly man as at the best of times. But as far as the Bald Explorer goes, I'm thinking now, instead of putting out my videos first thing in the morning, this might upset a few people, and I apologise for that. It's just I don't want to be fiddling about in the mornings anymore, not when I've got to get up at 5 and get out the door early. So I'm thinking of shoving them up just before I go to bed, which is around about 10 o'clock my time. and doing that, and just do that every day. I mean, they'll still be on for 24 hours, so I don't really see that it's going to make that much difference. People can still pick them up. So, like with Ramy Boo, usually gets to pick mine up after 4 o'clock my time in the morning, because they used to go out at 4 o'clock in the morning. They'll just be 6 hours a bit earlier, but she can still pick them up. So if you watch them at breakfast, you can still watch them at breakfast. They'll just go up late at night. Ophelia is a lovely name, MDM. Mark Donny McLeod, I assume that is. Ophelia, is that your dog or your pet or your bird or your wife or your offspring? We have a phone call, ladies and gentlemen. Let's find out who is calling up the old Vobie one-eyed Kenobi. Hello.
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 How are you, Kevin?
Oh, I'm all right, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm all right. Thank you very much for ringing. That was the lovely Kevin there ringing in with it. Oh, sorry, there's more.
Is there really?
Yeah, apparently.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. That was the other words that we hadn't used.
That's it. Yes. So I'm going to go out tomorrow and try and make this video again.
Yes.
With
the lupins.
What I'm thinking is with the lupins at St Peter's Church.
Oh, don't tell everyone. They'll all be there now. But
there's millions of St Peter's churches. Millions of them. They're all over the place. But I thought if I went out at the same time as you...
Just a minute. Is there a St Peter's Church in St Petersburg?
Well, probably.
Oh, okay.
But if there's anybody watching that's in St Petersburg that could actually tell us, that would be really useful.
Yeah. Okay.
So there. So I'm thinking if I went out at the same time as you, then every man and his brother would be where I'm going, and you'll have a peaceful time.
Can you guarantee that every man...
I can't put a guarantee on anything, sir.
Oh, yeah, typical tradesman, that is, isn't it? Typical tradesman. Oh, yeah, put that paint on, and after 7 years, you can scrub it, he used to say to me. 7 years, you'll be able to scrub it.
Yeah.
And I scrubbed this paint after 21 days, and I got, half the plaster came off.
Well, that's what happens when you stand the logs against the wall.
That's what happens when you listen to tradesmen. Because they say 21 days because that's, they've made sure the invoice has been paid by that time. That's why they say it. I've worked that bit out.
That's exactly right. 21 days and the paint is cured.
Yeah.
And then you're absolutely fine.
Absolutely fine. Because those 21 days is, I think, some legal thing to say you can't sue the tradesman in that time. You've got to pay up your invoice in that time. So, of course, when 21 days go and you scrub it and it just comes off on the brush, on the cloth, you go, oh, yeah, sorry, mate. No, you've paid me now and not doing nothing about it, mate. That's why there's that 21 days clause in.
Oh, that's the other tradesman. That's nothing what I'm like.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes, it was a bit of a pain today. I wanted to go and film these lupins and the church, and there's never anybody there. The most I've ever seen there is 2 people, and I drove up to the car park today, 2 cars, and I thought, well, that's not so bad, Have a wander up there, see where they are. They were right up at the top end of the lupin field, so I thought, right, that's it. I'll go back, get some still photographs done of the church, and while I was doing that, another car pulled up, and then another one, and then another one, and I'm thinking, this ain't going to work. This is not going to work. And then a lady come through and she said, I was taking some photographs, and she said, oh, I'm so sorry. She said, if I'm getting in the way of the photographs. I said, no, but everybody's getting in the way of me making a video. But yeah, that's the way it was today. So it's just, so I just gave it up, as you know.
So it's funny, isn't it? We're so polite. Somebody comes up, you're filming, and they say, oh, am I in the way? And you automatically say, no, it's all right. You do your thing. And actually, if you were to say the brutal, honest truth and say, actually, you bloody are. Fancy coming along. I'm out here trying to do my daily job. I'm filming, and you've just come up out of pleasure. Out of pleasure. You've got 24 hours in the day, and you've decided to come on the 1 hour I am on this spot. You unconsiderate bastard.
Yes.
Why don't you go back in your car, drive onto the M27, go and get stuck for an hour in all the heated traffic with the heated, angry people there, then come back and I will be gone, and you will not get this verbal abuse. That's what one should do. But of course, we're far too polite and go, oh, no. Please stand right in front of the camera and just pause and have a conversation with your partner about some trivial matter, which is absolutely inconvenient. You could have the conversation in the car miles away from here. But no, you're going to stand and then you'll say, oh, what are you doing? It's like, well, what do you think I'm doing? There's a camera on a bloody tripod. Yes, I'm painting the Forth Bridge, aren't I?
They're great fun, aren't they? They're great fun. It's like I said to you last week when I was doing the video over at Caldry Polo Fields. I'm doing a piece to camera, and because this couple had seen me, talking away with the camera up, they just stood there, and I'm thinking, bog off, just go away, leave me alone.
What we need is I know it's one bit of extra kit that we've got to carry, and that is a loud hailer. Okay, can we clear the set now, please? Can we clear the set, please? All members of the public, could you off? Thank you.
Oh dear, yeah. It's just I don't know. It is frustrating. I think you and I said this morning. You in your head you're trying to plan what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to see, and then you get there and you do a little bit of a recce round. And if you can't start filming within about 5 or 10 minutes of arriving, the impetus is gone. Then people are turning up, and you're just thinking, "Oh Jesus, just go away." But then once you've lost that thread, you might as well just give up and go home.
Mm.
It's frustrating. I didn't think it was a massive problem. It's still, I knew what you were telling me, but I never knew what it was like until you actually start making these videos yourself.
Oh, the cameras are a magnet, aren't they? They people just turn. It's like, oh, you're filming. Okay, I just saw that. Sean says he usually tells I'm filming Crime Watch. It's interesting because when I used to film corporate stuff, and I'd be interviewing people at their premises or outside their premises very often, and people would come and say, "Is it going to be on the telly, mate? Is it going to be on the telly?" Because I'd have my corporate camera, which is a bigger camera on a bigger tripod, and it looks the business. Yeah. And they'd say, "Is it going to be on the telly?" And sometimes, that's funny enough, I would say, "Yeah, it's on Crime Watch." But other times, if it was like a tradesman coming up, going, "Oh yeah, what's going on here? Are you filming something?" I say, "Yeah, it's Rogue Traders. Do you want me to turn the camera around on you?" And he goes, "Oh no, mate, no, don't be like that, mate. Oh, I'm not a rogue trainer. No, mate, not me, mate. Me. Oh no, 21 days. That's on the wall, mate. Just pay up the invoice, you'll be all right."
Oh dear. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what we have to do. It's harder for you, Richard, because as we all know, this is your job. This is how you make your living. For me, it's just a hobby.
I like. It's nice of you to say that make my living. I mean, I try to make a living from it.
Sorry, all right. Let me rephrase that. You do this because you're trying to make a living from it.
That's it. That's what I'm fooling myself. I'm fooling myself that this is a proper job. I treat it like a proper job. I get up early and go out and do this every day. And people are very kind and they support me on the Patreon. But you couldn't go to the bank manager and say, "I want to buy a new camera," or this, that, and the other. Say, "And I'd just like to borrow some money," and say, "Oh yes, and how, just remind me again of your income stream." Well, it's people who want to pay me when they want to pay me.
That's right. Yes.
And they decide how much they want to pay me. It's like, yes, I don't think it's a very good idea to lend this man any money.
That's right, yeah.
Can I say you were sounding very, very professional just a few moments ago? I just meant to chip in, but I just let you speak. But I wanted to say how professional you sounded when earlier you said, I got there and I wanted to do a piece to camera.
Oh, well, yes.
You sounded so professional, lovely. It just sounded, oh, yes, I'm there, I'm professional. I'm just going to do a piece to camera.
Yes. Well, what it is, I've got a little book in front of me, and every time I hear you say something that sounds really good,
Yeah.
I write it down
Oh,
and I
right.
try and memorise it.
Good
This
idea.
It's the Richard Vobes saying. So I think, oh yeah, Richard says this.
Yeah, well, if you ever see a PTC in a script, that's what it means, piece to camera.
Yeah. Ah, right.
PTC.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it's obviously it's logic, and you are doing a piece to camera, but
Yeah.
it's all good fun. Creative people are so temperamental, says Jeff Kellison. Yeah, that's right. Bloody right we are.
Yeah. Okay then. All right then. All right, Richard. I'll let you crack on because you want to finish in 29 minutes' time.
Oh, is that what it is? Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Take-
All right, Richard.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we are. The wonderful Kevin Hall, the terribly professional Kevin Hall, doing pieces to camera. It's the one-eye depth perception, Lisa, bless him, says lovely Julia. I'm sure it is. Val says, surely you really do it for the love of it. Yes, I absolutely, I don't know. I'm loaded, me. Did you not know? I'm a multi-millionaire, me. I'm a billionaire. I've got more money than... Who's got a lot of money? That authoress who did the Potter Harry books. Shim. Is that a new transgender word? Shim. Could be. Ramiboo says, oh, Julia, if I didn't consider that, it just makes the sound of my teeth hurt too. What? Connor says, I filmed a video today and had a jogger shouting obscenities at me. Oh, my giddy. I can only assume it's me he shouted at as I was in the trees on a massive field and there couldn't have been anybody else. Yeah, what was he? Why was... Oh, it's funny, you know, people are running in public and they go, oh, don't film me. Well, you're in the public, mate. You're in the public. Don't run up to me. I've got a camera in my hand, so don't run up to me. I've got a camera and I'm filming you. Oh, but you're not allowed to. Well, you're on the... Tell that to the CCTVs then. Make more money than sense, as my mum would say. Yes, I've got more... It depends, you know... I thought Richard was a multi-trillionaire, says Come Walk With. Oh, yes, that's it. I'm a million, billion, trillion. Vince Hillian makes you quite illionaire, in actual fact. Right, I think we go back to the video box. Oh, yes. Now, talking of films and talking of things that can go right and things that can go wrong, the lovely Dave Ford has been out filming, and he's started to encounter the issues that you get when you start using some vague form of script, and you do make a few cock-ups. And so he's sent in a amusing little blooper roll, which we can take a look at. And I know exactly where he's coming from, because it's happened to me umpteen times.
Well, what's interesting about this church is that there's a really big connection with HMS Hood, which was a British battleship that was sunk in a battle with the German battleship, the Bismarck, on the 24th of May 1941. All but 3 of the 1,418 crew lost their lives. But the overall officer in charge was Vice Admiral Lancelot Holland. New paragraph. Action. The overall officer in charge was Vice Admiral, I can't say Admiral. Action. The overall officer in charge at HMS Hood was Vice Admiral Lancelot Holland. Admiral Lancelot Holland. Action. The overall officer in charge of HMS Hood at the time was Admiral... Oh, God. Bloody hell. Now there's a car going by. Admiral. New paragraph. Right, start again. 3 to 1, action. The overall officer in charge of HMS Hood at the time was a Lancelot Holland, and he lived in the village here. And in fact, inside the church, unfortunately we can't get in because it's closed.
There we are, caught me red-handed. Yes, that's one of those things when things go completely wrong. Just as you're expecting to do one thing, suddenly something else happens. And Dave, yes, very admirable. Oh, hello. So it's interesting. Sean says, filming in Soho and a woman asked to be interviewed. When we said, okay, then she asked a question. She said, oh, just hold on a second. Let me get my nipples ready. And she started tweaking them. I suppose she wanted them all nice and erect. It was in Soho, so you do wonder what kind of film he was making. But anyway, and I remember many a time going out and, going out there with a script and trying to get it right. And just in the end, things aren't working. And you just go, do you know what? We'll do that in voiceover. So I would try and say everything on my long format ones to camera, and then you'd get to places where there's the road is too loud, or there's too many people, or there is whatever problems, and you would go, okay, this section, voiceover, and then you'd just get all the cutaway shots you need and move on, and it was as simple as that, really. But I would then try and go, okay, now I don't want too much voiceover, because I always think voiceover it's appropriate at certain times, but if I can get it more to the camera, then you know that you've got enough to the camera, because you could do the whole bloody lot in voiceover. If you did the whole lot in voiceover, it'd be so much easier. You could just nip out, grab loads of pictures, do a voiceover, and you're done. But people like to see you talking on camera. It makes it genuine, it makes it real, and you're not hiding behind the lens. So that's all good. Somewhere to hang your hat, says Days of Yore. Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm not quite sure why, but it is. That's me taking something out of completely out of context, of course. You keep saying script, says Kevin Rambles. Do you not use a script? No? Well, maybe that would improve the show, just a gnat's nick a leg. Let's have a look inside the video box, and we're moving on now quite swiftly to, this is Lee Roberts. Hello, Lee. This is the first one from Lee. Thank you so much for sending your video in. It's nice to get people who we don't have the usual crowd, as much as we love having the usual crowd. Don't get me wrong on that front. This is Lee. Now, Lee's got two of these. I'm going to put the second part in on tomorrow, and it's a nice walk captured in some beautiful, stunning photography, and it's really nice. The second part opens up. We see something very interesting. However, we'll keep that back. So, Lee, where are we going, and what's it look like? How lovely. How brilliant. Love all that. And there's a good example there of some great editing as well as some great cinematic shots. Really nice. And you'll be very thrilled to see part 2 from Lee Roberts. So thanks so much, Lee. Do send more in. Very, very happy to look at those. Excuse me. So there we go. Now, I just also, the other thing is I've been thinking about, it seems that most people have come out of lockdown now and people are going back to work, whatever they do. I'm sure that there are still some people furloughed. And sorry, I'm just trying to get the number on in case somebody wants to ring in. So I'm thinking of going back to doing the show on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. We did the every single day and I, did as much as I could to keep everybody entertained because we were all shoved into lockdown. And now I feel it's time just to ease back a bit. I don't want you to feel that I'm slacking in any way, but I want to be able to put more time and research and stuff back into the videos. And I've got the In Search of Sussex stuff that I want to do. And, we're getting into the best part of the year and we've got a bit more time and flexibility to go out and do stuff. So time is very precious. However, I don't want to upset anybody. So thank you very much if that's okay with you. Lots of great comments for Lee, quite rightly so. Wendy Lowry says, lovely video, so atmospheric. Lovely video. We've got Steve Garnett. Thank you very much, Lee. Great video. Great cinematography. And in huge capital letters, Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to the brave men and women of our armed forces who served in the past and present. Okay, I guess that must be an American thing. I thought you were going back to 3 days, Richard. Yes, that's what I am. That's exactly what I just proposed. It's just what I proposed. I may have mentioned that last week. I just sort of reiterating it, I suppose. I am back to my day job tomorrow, says Jens. They have us on a rotor at the moment. As long as it's not a rotor blade, you'll be all right. Absolutely, Ramaboo, says Andrew Morris. Impressively, evening all, says Glastonbury Gabriel. We've missed wherever Glastonbury Gabriel's been. We've missed him. But it is bank holiday. And a question for Glastonbury Gabriel. Have you got tourists back over the bank holiday in Glastonbury? That would be an interesting observation to come back to. Sean says, what will happen when you find England in your quest for England? Well, my quest for England is funny because people do ask me that question, and I just think, well, it's a silly thing, isn't it? It's and I don't mean that thrown at you, Lee, but Sean, but it's like In Search of Sussex. Some wisecracker on YouTube said, it's under your feet, or some words to that sort of thing. And the quest for England. It's the quest for England and Englishness. I'm looking for England that is what England is to me. And so by going around England, I'm looking for the England that England means to me. And I tried to explain that when you go to a YouTube channel, you usually get some sort of intro video for the very first time. I tried to encapsulate that logic, that mission statement, if you like, in that. So that's what the quest for England is. It's obviously not me starting from New Zealand and trying to find my way to England. Clearly I'm in England, but I'm trying to find what England means to being English, what Englishness is, and what England is, mainly. And some of it's through what England isn't, and at the moment, the search for Sussex is part of that overall mission. So that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, there's people would disagree with me, and they're absolutely right to disagree with me, and it doesn't matter because this is my England. It's not. I don't think there is necessarily a definitive for what England is. England will be something for different people. But there's certain things that England isn't. I mean, England isn't China, for example. It's not China, it's England. And I think there's there's lots of crossovers, that there's various things that people will go, well, I don't think that's really very English anymore, but maybe that is, and people can all agree about it. And who knows, and I think this is a lifetime's challenge, or quest rather. It's a lifetime's thing to go, what is it? I don't think, which is why somebody else started up something called This Is England. And I'm not saying that this is it. This is a finite thing. My quest is an ongoing. I think that's what's implied in the word quest. I would suggest it's a long, arduous journey rather than this is it, full stop, because that's it. I think we'll all be on a three-day week soon, says Sean. Well, I am working the other days. Fine with me, says Wendy. You've done us proud, Richard. Thank you. Hi, Gabriel. Have you been to Bicton Park Church, says Philip. Toberstream, yeah, 3 shows a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Search for this, quest for that, Matt. Another fine excuse for lots of lovely videos. Exactly. Quest for England, history, culture, its people of yore, and the mood of England, the real England. I like the word quest. Yeah, I think quest has it's sort of a bit more biblical, isn't it, in a way? Not that I'm saying that I'm writing a Bible. Hello to the Vobe listener who's called in with their phone.
Oh, hi, Richard. It's Mike Dixon.
Mike
and
Dixon.
Bella.
And...
Well, it's the Mike Dixon. Bella's asleep.
Bella's... so wake her up and put her on. How are you?
I'm looking online at the National Trust, and it's saying, for example, Sheffield Park,
yes,
that the car park is open, but it's on, it's limited spaces. But it's on their website. It says it's open from dusk.
Oh, right.
So I would just pick because I know you're an early bird, so get out there early.
Yes.
And you'll get in the car park, and I think as somebody said on the chat, if you got one of their car parking stickers, just put it in the window,
Well, I haven't got any of their stickers. I know some people put their card in the window, but I don't want someone to break into my car to steal.
It is a risky one.
Yeah, to nick that. I don't mind scanning it, and I didn't because I wasn't sure how it works. But they've told me to scan the QR code, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Plus, the fact the time I'm going there, I doubt somebody is going to be up there to check my car.
I wouldn't risk it. They do have these attendants, and they are, they're usually private contractors.
Oh, right, okay.
They're a bit hot and keen.
Even at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I would think so. They're little buggers, aren't they? These people.
Yeah, they are. Well, I wonder how they would know if you've QR'd it in the machine, because does it give you a sticker?
Yeah. No idea. No, I don't honestly know. I would maybe take a photocopy, of your card and just leave that in the windscreen,
Yeah, no, I've never done it, but anyway, thank you very much for the membership. Do you know what's going to happen if you've just joined like we did, and then they closed everything because of COVID? Does it mean that we're stuffed, or will they extend the membership?
Well, I think it'd be worth contacting their customer services department, because likewise. We'd only just renewed ours, and
exactly,
and you can't go. You can't go to these places. So it's worth asking. They might say, "Well, look, we'll add on 2 or 3 months."
Well, I should certainly think that they should add on the 3 months that we've not been able to do anything.
Absolutely, yeah, because you're not able to get out and about.
Especially, I mean, especially if you're new members, it's like, well, I'm not going to bother to renew next year.
Absolutely.
You're going to put people off. They're going to be desperate for people to go to these places because they'll want the money.
And what they are saying online is that, something to be aware of for some people, but is toilets and cafes and all that kind of, they're closed. Yeah. Which is a bit tricky, especially a lot of their members are elderly, so they're going to get out there and not be able to use a toilet. Maybe all right for men, but for women, that could be a bit more challenging,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I it's interesting to see how it's going to work. I can't imagine that this is going to go on for much longer because I don't know. I think it's all people. We can't. Otherwise, these big country houses will start to fall apart. Because they'll need the money to keep the restoration going. If people can't go in sufficient numbers.
Yeah, and a lot of places have got their cafes open now, takeaway and, kind of keeping your distance and everything. But they need to make, they need money in the till, don't they?
They do. Most definitely they need the money.
Certainly the National Trust need, they make a lot of money from their cafes,
Yes.
restaurants,
Well, that's it. I mean, the markup on cake and stuff must be quite a lot, really. And
I think on the old British Rail, they used to say that it cost them, this was many years ago, but they used to say it used to cost them like half a penny, when we had half a penny, to make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And God knows what they sold it for. But that was the tea, the hot water, the milk, the cup, and the stirrer, and a bag of sugar.
Yeah.
And they were pretty amazing. That was that amount of profit.
Absolutely, yeah. And because they got their electric free, didn't they? Because they're probably getting it off the rail as they go along.
Yeah. Did you liked our bird feeding station earlier?
Yes, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
The starlings.
I liked Andrew's video over Croatia. That's beautiful. All those birds coming up and sitting on his arm.
I know. And then he cooked them.
Yeah.
They made a nice at least a meal.
Yeah, but it is worrying. I mean, they were saying, something like, I think it's 40 million birds visiting the UK, and that's taken place in the last 30 odd years. This massive reduction in birds, and sadly, in many parts of the world, they net these birds and then obviously cook them, which is sad that we haven't then got. People are saying, well, we haven't got the birds over here to see, but it's a world. It makes you realise again that it's a global issue, that there's got to be conservation all, globally,
Yes, because they're, a lot of them are migratory, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if their fields that they migrate to disappear, then when they've got their 7,000-mile journey and they're a bit knackered from it, like you would imagine they might be with their tiny little bodies, and they go, oh, the cafe is closed. Where's our NT card? No, they won't let us in. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. Hey ho.
But it was good to see Andrew's. Yeah, good to see Andrew's film. With the wildlife of that, and in Croatia, that's superb, isn't it? It's like an oldie woldie. It goes back about 50 years, doesn't it, compared to England?
I want one of those tea towels. I want one of those bird tea towels. Yeah, what a brilliant way to learn. By having just a small, because you can buy a book with about 7 trillion birds in it, and you go, oh yeah, what is that one? And then you realise there's about 52 different options for that one bird. Oh, is it a greater tit, a not so great tit, the greater lesser tit? One. Whereas you've just got it on there, and there's 12 birds, and you just go, oh yeah, that's a big tit, that's a thrush, that's some other medical condition. So yeah,
a little one. I was out at one of these dawn choruses about 2 years ago down in Brighton, and some unearthly hour in the morning. Anyway, all these experts and very knowledgeable people talking about birds. Anyway, this expert was telling us which birds were singing at this. Anyway, I had an app on my phone. It's called Bird ID.
Oh yeah.
I bought it. Somebody recommended it to me, and it's like £1.99. So I got it on my mobile phone. So as we were going round, I did this setting, and actually, so it was listening for the birds, and you have to wait about 20, 30 seconds, and then it comes up with a list of all the birds that that are in your area. Anyway, this expert was listing off a few of his birds, and then, not to be, big-headed or know-all, because I don't know anything about them, but I also chipped in that there was this bird, and apparently there was also this bird.
I bet he loved you, didn't he?
Yeah, he said... Afterwards, he said, it's taken me 35 years to learn all those birds.
Yeah, and I got it on an app. How do you think us filmmakers think when people come out and they just press, they take a picture and then they've got a vignette and they've done something to the colours and they've done this and they have no idea how they've done it, but they know how to do it every time on an app. Yeah. And you think, but I've learnt the long way around. I know how all this works. And they just go, but it's on a phone, isn't it? You just do that, it's done. I know how to.
But it is scary how amazing these, I got one of these iPhone XRs, and it's amazing the quality of the film and the sound. You think, but apparently the technology in this XR is something like 6 times stronger, more capacity than what was used to get men onto the moon. And back again.
And back again. Yeah, I know. Well, this is it. I mean, I was listening to something on the radio about the Archers, the ongoing everyday tale of country folk. And because they've not been able to record them, they've been sending them recording equipment. And I thought, I wonder what sort of recording equipment they've sent them, and told them to go under duvets and record their lines.
No, did they?
And then they edit up in the studio, shove a bit of Atmos in, and stick some farmyard sounds over the top of it, and tweak the treble and bass and what have you, and EQ it up, and suddenly there you are. You're back in the farmyard, but actually they're two actors talking to each other under duvets, 300 miles apart. I mean, it's absolutely. You could do that on radio. That's what's so brilliant about audio. You can't do that so easily on video.
No.
Unless you've got.
But all your technology, like I'm chatting to you, I've got my computer on mute, but I can see your picture. But it's fantastic. I can see the comments on my right of the screen. This is fantastic technology, during this lockdown, you imagine what it was like in 1918 with the Spanish flu epidemic. Killed, a third of the population here in the UK?
Yeah.
And people didn't know what was going on. They didn't have that information or that, they didn't communicate with people.
The trouble is they didn't know what was going on because the flu only spoke Spanish. It was fluent. Oh, dear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bad jokes coming out. Nice to talk to you, Mike.
Yeah, anyway, if you go to the National Trust, have a great time. I'll get there early,
Yes.
You do anyway, don't you?
I do. I mean, I'm not going to a house or anything like this. Is a remote place on the hills.
Yeah, just out and about. Yeah. It looks like at Sheffield Park, the actual parkland is open.
Oh, good.
And most of their places, I think the kind of woodland areas are now open.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Lovely. All right. Well, nice. Take
All
care.
The best.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
There we are, lovely Mike Dixon there, and his starlings. And Bella didn't enter the conversation at all, which is a bit of a shame. Linda Kane says, just found this on the National Trust site. On Monday, the 18th of May, a booking system will open on the Trust website. Details of which car parks are available will appear on the property web pages. Hence, so that's good. Thank you very much for that, Linda Kane. Some places near me are doing takeaway ice cream teas. No, I added the ice in there. It's just cream teas, which is very nice. The Archers, also known as the Duvets now. Duvets? Do they do that on the farm? I'm not sure they do. Or, hey, Clary, we got to get under this there duvet here now when we're doing our pigs. Oh, no, we ain't got to do that. Clary, voice has gone a bit low there, isn't it? Oh, no, I don't know about that anymore. Anyway, you died a couple of years ago, didn't you? What's his name? Not Jack Grundy. Oh, I forgot what you were. Joe, you died. Oh, no, I never did die. I never did die, really. They just put me in a box. I thought you were cremated. Oh, I know, I don't know now whatever happened to me. Anyway, I'm the ghost of Joe and his horse on the Archers, who are, indeed. Powell and Pressburger were the Archers, says Mike Stevens. And I didn't expect the Spanish flu. Nobody expected the Spanish flu, least of all me. Let's go to the video box. How are we doing on the old time front? Oh, it's 9 o'clock, so I want to try and finish fairly soon. However, Bowery and Faden have been out. Up to an Iron Age hill fort. Wonder which one.
Hello all. Today we are at an Iron Age hill fort, Beacon Hill, in Hampshire.
We are. It's as Faden says, it's an Iron Age hill fort. It's one of a few that network Hampshire. This is probably the most famous one. It's on top of the hill. It's actually never been excavated before. So we'll show you around when we get closer to it. There's a half beaten track of stairs that are pretty worn that lead up to the hillside. We're actually in Berkeley, which is, it overlooks the North Wessex Downs. Unfortunately, we've got a busy road in the background, which you can probably hear. It spoils the peacefulness of it a little bit.
And also there's a freeway path over there, so, or maybe a four, it depends.
Yeah, there's a four-way path over there. We were going to go down it. It looked the less beaten track, but we decided to stick with the main path. The land here is chalk land.
There's also more paths here.
Well, lots of crisscrossing paths. It'd be interesting to explore them. I've never been here before, so it's my first time.
And there's also a little, like, overgrown path there that is covered in trees and stuff.
There is. Show you the views. Starting to come above the tree line now, so we can see the views a bit better. There's the path that leads down and the path that leads up. Here you can see the ramparts of the hill fort, the earthworks, where there's a whole ring around the top of the hill fort that goes around for defensive purposes. This is what they would have seen from near the top.
And as you can see over there, you might not be able to see it, but there's the transmitter over there.
Oh yeah, it's Hannington Transmitter. It's amazing to think of all the activity that went on up here. Because there was no archaeological digs here, all of the things that they left behind would still be here. It seems such a shame for it to be left in the ground to rot.
We're now at the top of the summit at the Beacon Hill.
We are. I'll give you a panoramic of that if you can hear me, because I know it's windy. Now walking around the other side of the hill fort. Hopefully you can hear me. It's very, very windy up here. I'd just like to show you this building, if you can see it. It is Highclere Castle, where they filmed the TV historical drama Downton Abbey.
What I like about this place. It's quite interesting. I like the forestry bit. 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, it must have been like hard, because like you could have like kept on getting all these like enemies trying to raid you or something. Because you're not really finding any food on the hill. So you'd have to go like maybe a mile or two to get like food and water maybe. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.
There we go. The travelling duo out and about on a windy hilltop and an Iron Age hill fort. Marvellous stuff. And yes, I forgot to mention, and glad Audrey remembered, I did speak to Barry. Yes, Faden's birthday. Happy birthday, Faden. Apparently they went to Wayland's Smithy today and had a lovely picnic on your birthday. So how lovely is that? Well done. What a wonderful treat. I hope it was lovely, and I hope that you made a video and we get to see it. But yeah, no, well done. Happy birthday to you. Right, it's virtually time for me to go, but I'm just going to squeeze in just one last short video. This is part 1 of 2, and This is young Master Kevin out and about.
Well, Cynthia's gone on ahead. You see there's remnants of bluebells there. But again, just here to my left-hand side, sweet chestnut that was cut probably 7 or 8 years ago, and this side as well to my right, just here. But she said to me that this is called Oakham Bottom, Oakham Bottom. And just down here, she said, there's a pond, which is called Mill Pond. But it seems that nobody knows the reason why. Well, with the name Mill and Mill Pond, you would think that somewhere there would have been a mill here. But evidently, oh, here we go. Just there. And you can see it's man-made because of the brickwork. Just going to wander down, see if I can get round there. Yes, it's definitely man-made, as you can see. Oh, but the water looks very dirty. And it looks like there's a big oak that's leaning across this way. I don't know if it's actually grown that way. You've got all the trees growing out in the middle. But Cynthia's friend Marilyn, when she was a young girl, said that they used to come and swim in this pond, in Mill Pond.
And there he is. Nice to see Cynthia there. Cynthia Walder in the background. And a lovely pond as well. Well done, Kevin. Looking forward to part 2 of that. Nice to get out into the countryside in some fresh air and ready for a little bit of swimming in the pool. Delightful. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. But do tune in now. I may have said tomorrow, but I actually mean Wednesday. Wednesday will be the next show. So don't tune in tomorrow. You're welcome to tune in tomorrow, but I probably won't be here. So we'll do the next show on Wednesday at the same time. Not from Brighton, but from Worthing, which will be probably more sensible. Hope you've enjoyed today's show. Thank you very much. Thank you for the videos. Thank you for Judith and to Julia for doing the moderating, although it looks like everybody's been behaving themselves, which is fantastic. We've not had any idiots for a long time. Thank you for the callers. It's been wonderful. And for all of you guys for watching and keeping the comments flowing. It's superb. And we will look forward to seeing you very soon on the Wednesday. Till the next time we meet again. Thank you once again. He says, trying to cover the moment where he's trying to get to the intro and take that off. And he's done it just about. Keep talking, they say. Keep talking. What about? I don't know. Now, okay, now wind it up. All right, now wind it up. Go to the end. I'm going to the end. So, good night, everybody. Thank you and see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And just if you happen to be still tuning in, the reading that I do at 4 o'clock is on every day. I'm still trying to keep that one up every day. So, yeah, that's for sure. Just the shows in the evening. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Good night.